Okay, so we have an easy TUR tier list I'm gonna show you guys today. I felt like, Dokkan, right now it's in a little bit of a lull period right before Saiyan Day. We just got confirmation God Goku will be Saiyan Day, right? But we still are a couple of days away before I actually get like official reveals and teasers and info. So for now, I'm just gonna make a preliminary easy TUR tier list. I think I'm gonna wait to make a Dokkan Fest 2R tier list until probably like in the middle of the year. Because I feel like easy 2R tier list, I just like updating them a little more now that it's been some time. There's a bunch of new characters from the anniversary, right? So we'll be talking about it here, because like we haven't had a 2R, like we barely got a 2R Super 17, right? And before then it was a couple of months before we got our last 2R in Yamcha, right? So been a very long time for that, but I'm gonna wait for a couple more 2Rs to stack up for a Dokkan Fest tier list. Now again, easy to our tier list, we've got a bunch of them, so let's just start off here. Again, there's a bunch of these guys. There's a lot of these guys are options. If I didn't mention some of these characters that you feel like deserve to be on the list, they could be an honorable mention. Like I'll be real, this Broly's not on the list. I feel like you can count him as an honorable mention. Tech VB, Power Band Super Saiyan has gotten a lot stronger recently. Age Super 17 just got the STR 17 rank, but I don't feel any of them are necessarily stronger than some of the units I see on the list. So this one, maybe, I guess, because like I have physical Super Vegeta number 10. So I feel you could even argue, because he's literally at the number 10 spot. You could argue, like, AGL Super 17. Oh, he's more relevant right now because we have the STR Super 17 Dokkan Fest out now. I don't know if you could argue Tech Vegeta Blue even above him. We have, LR Vegeta Blue available, and this guy's winner is better than linking partners, right? And I completely understand that. I just feel this guy has definitely some value, underrated value that people don't really recognize. I think he's fine, right? I overall would say I am a little more favorable to this guy than other people are. It's just unfortunate he can't really tank those supers, and I feel like his damage output should have been a lot stronger than what he was given. Very, very close to being a really, really good unit, but unfortunately they just missed the mark a little with him. Again, easy TURs are usually like the most special thing ever, but I still do think, again, I like this guy having this 80% damage reduction and counter. Well, the counter doesn't really matter, but the damage reduction is pretty good. He's going to be relevant for a very, very long time in the game's lifespan. And if we do ever get a unit with the Scouter ability, like again, S-tier Super Vegeta EZAs later this year or something like that, right? This guy could really actually explode a little, especially if, like, we get even another unit that's supporting on the rotation. Like, I mean, we are getting so many, like, very strong supports, like the S-tier GT Vegeta, right? We're getting support units that support 80% attack, even beyond that. Likely we could even see it later this year, right? Who knows? So what if we see some sort of support Vegito that's doing that, and then this guy's damage could honestly explode with that, because this is multiplicative. The only issue with this guy damage wise is that he doesn't have any start of turn. But if you add that starter turn with the support buff, this guy could honestly truly explode, right? He needs a little specifics, but I think he can be potentially set up for like a future Boo Saga celebration, right? We'll have to wait and see how they're going to handle that, but I'm a little hopeful for this guy compared to others, I feel. So I have him at number 10. I feel like you could switch again, like, AGL Super 17 in there or something like that if you really wanted to. Not the biggest steal ever. I mean, same with a lot of these spots. I feel like you can kind of switch some of these units in there. Okay, so for my number 9 spot here, I actually do have AG Elemental Cooler. It's kind of crazy. I kind of have to look for some of these characters sometimes, but there's AG Elemental Cooler. This unit was actually, like, I guess it honestly has been quite a while since it came out. September, right? It's already going to be March, in the middle of March right now. This guy's still solid, right? I like him a lot, what he's providing. I think the biggest issue with him is not really his fault. It's the fact that we got the LR Metal Cooler, and it's like, he's just a better unit than this guy, right? And it's like, you kind of don't want to run many of the same name characters, especially if you're running the LR Metal Cooler as a leader for the Wicked Bloodline team. Then you're definitely not using this guy, right? It's not really a chance. Another issue is I feel like, all of this right here is just basically nothing. there's not really going to be super class pure Saiyan enemies we face right now, and even then just key in and crit chance, right? I mean, it's nice, but this definitely is just over bloated. So at this point, you know, he's really stats and the heal, which the heal is nice, but like, you know, if we're talking about the Wicked Bloodline team, this team already has a bunch of healing. I feel this team, you know, doesn't like, he's not really providing anything special that the team really needs, like even in debuffs or anything. He just fits the mold of the Wicked Bloodline team, which is nice. But I don't know, I feel like maybe it would have been nice if he had some extra ability instead of this to kind of differentiate himself from what the LR was going to be. Like, what if this guy even had a little bit of support abilities? What if he was like a rainbow orb changer, or maybe he has some type of evasion or something just to kind of help set him apart there? And it's like, okay, even though we have the LR meta cooler, this guy would fill a different role so he could still help out the team, but they didn't really design him that way. He has this meta cooler core, which can come in clutch. And again, we know that basically whenever you turn into these giant forms, and if you get super attacked during the giant form turn, you know, given it reaches the max amount that a unit could super attack, like, you know, it's like Broly super attacks twice per turn, he supers you twice during the turn you're in the core phase, right? That actually will not allow you to get super attacked for the rest of the turn because you're in the same turn. So like a boss can't super attack more than, you know, let's say I get you at the meta cooler core event, right? You get super attacked by him, he can't super attack more than once a turn. So I think you guys kind of get the point. The orange piccolo thing, right? Same thing for all giant forms. So that's cool. I don't know, I feel like I would have liked this guy to be a little different, and if he was a little different, he would be higher on the list even. He's basically just a baby LR meta cooler, which is good. Obviously that's a good thing, but I don't think he's as strong as these other units I personally have on the list, right? So that's really that. I do think he's better than Vegito. I just feel his overall performance, even though he won't tank normal as good as Vegito, right? Well, I mean, honestly, he tanks any normals in the game. He does much more damage than I feel like Vegito would. He just has a better setup than I feel like Vegito does as well, right? Just a lot of different factors there. So next we have the physical future Gohan, actually. So I think a lot of people have been souring on this unit a little bit, and I understand why, because events have gotten to back to like more shorter style. Like when Broly and Omega came out, those events are much longer, have multiple more phases even than what we saw with Meta Cooler Core. Even like, you know, the Cell Max Red Zone, Cell Max Boss event, right? A lot of those events, usually you get to the final phase turn 4 or turn 5, right? Compared to like Broly, you know, sometimes you get the final phase like turn 7, turn 8, right? Where this guy was able to build up his damage reduction. I still think he's very good though. I think people underrate his utility, and especially in the longer events, he is able to tank very well. At this point, for him to keep up, you really do want to have him next to LR, Vegeta, and Trunks. But obviously, you know, Vegeta and Trunks are just one of the still one of the stronger units in the game. I mean, you could argue them. I mean, they're easily top 10 for sure. I feel that's probably where I have them. I don't know where exactly I would have this unit right now. I haven't really looked at like doing an LR Dokkan Fest tier list. Maybe if you guys want to see that, let me know. But this unit is still obviously very, very good, and slot 1 and then have this guy slot 2, right? It's still a very powerful combination. There's obviously better rotations you could run, but this guy's good. I do like him a lot, even like as a floating unit if you have to. Even though it'll hurt his damage reduction from being built up, he can still be pretty solid tanking wise. I mean, 37% reduction with his full stats. He does get the 50% on super, but with dodge and, you know, additionals, so he could cook. Especially if the, you know, unit on rotation has all in the family, then he starts really getting good at that situation, right? So yeah, I just like what he's doing overall. I'm a defensive player first and foremost, right? I'm sure a lot of you guys may know that. Even though the game is in an offensive state, I feel like I do like defensive units still a little more, but I'm much more lenient to offensive units than I was, like, you know, in 2021, for example, right? Still, I think that if we just look face to face what these guys are doing, first off, Future Gohan isn't really competing with anyone, and additionally, he's with a better partner in the game. Like, I would say Metal Cooler doesn't necessarily have a partner that like really unlocks his potential. Whilst this dude is LR Vegeta and Trunks, right? You can say STR Cooler for this guy, but even then, I do like Vegeta and Trunks better than STR Cooler, right? At least currently, right now. And I think this guy being able to do something in terms of tanking even super attacks from certain bosses, like obviously he's not going to tank Cell Max, but I feel like if you get lucky, he could tank even a Metal Cooler Core. His super attack, I haven't really tried it yet, but I feel like, you know, on that rotation with Vegeta and Trunks, say he's on turn 1 and then he gets the Metal Cooler Core in turn 5, he has most of his damage reduction built up. I feel like he would be able to tank that pretty well, actually. Or at least bare minimum survive, right? So he just is providing something here that a lot of characters can't do in terms of tanking these big boss super attacks, right? Which is, I think, very important. So that's why I like him above Metal Cooler. Just my personal reason here. So next, I do have the STR Namek Goku. And again, I feel like, honestly, you can switch up a lot of these units at the lower tier especially. I feel like it's really the higher tier that are, like, kind of set in stone a little more for me. Can't find the, like, base from Namek Goku. Oh, there he is, right there. So I was going to use Super Saiyan, but no. I like this Namek Goku a lot. I feel like the thing with him is that he was really, really good with the Tech Carnival Goku. The Tech Carnival Goku is still really good, but I'm not sure if he's necessarily as good as he was previously, because we got another very strong revive unit in the best unit in the game, right? The Goku and Vegeta, the GT version. I feel a lot of people agree that unit is pretty much the best unit in the game. This the revive Spirit Bomb is too good. This dude though is on a lot of category teams. I think he has an easy transformation condition. He's solid in base form. I think a lot of people have a problem with the medium chance to guard. I still personally do, right? It can hurt his consistency. But if you use this guy correctly against the bosses that he wants to be used against, right? Like, again, Metal Cooler Core, I think Cell Max, he works really well in. Basically, any boss that could have a physical phase, this guy could be good. Stacking defense will be nice. He'll get better with longer content. I feel like a lot of these units here will get better with longer content, but right now, it's just shorter content, right? His rage mode, I feel like, is very useful. Again, another situation where you pop the rage mode, you get the STR key spheres and rainbow key spheres. You save those key spheres for when you go back into this Goku. You can heal with those key spheres because he's stacking defense. He has solid defenses. And then you have to keep in mind, on top of that, that turn you could likely not get super attacked because you may just use up the enemy super attack walls in this rage mode, and that's again a very powerful tool you can utilize. It could also even remove locks and stuff like that, right? This rage mode is very, very good, and you could use it from turn 5. So again, like Metal Cooler Core, you could definitely see this activated. Cell Max, you could definitely see this activated, right? A lot of these stronger, shorter fights which can help this guy out, considering he wants to be longer fights. While someone like Future Gohan doesn't really have a tech like that, or even Metal Cooler, like they don't have that tech to help them in the shorter content. Whereas this Namek Goku does have that, and if he does especially guard, you're 100% good for the next 4 turns, man. This is a really good ability to add to him. High chance to crit was nice too, right? You can squeeze in some extra damage there, but I like this. And if you are lower on HP, he gets more defense, which I find is pretty cool, right? Especially, he'll have this guaranteed when you first transform. So, this guy's cool. I like him a lot. I like him a lot. I feel like if there's one thing I would change about him, I guess, like, what if this was guard guaranteed when you're under 77% HP or something, at least for the first appearance, right? And then he would activate the guard guaranteed no matter what. But maybe that's too good, right? I don't know. It would have been good to send me, because like at that point, okay, maybe you stack defense up a little after the guard, you know, for the 4 turns guaranteed runs out. You still have the chance to get the guard, but at the very least you have your defense stacked up, right? Maybe they would have thought that was too good, especially with the kind of content that they're introducing during Worldwide. But hey, just a thought right there. So now we get into 6 and above. I feel like, again, it's a little more closer here, but maybe 6 could be argued a little more. People might not like this, but I do actually really like this Super Saiyan 3 Bardock. Again, he's an offensive unit, but I feel like I think he tanks normals a little better than people give him credit for. given, you know, his double triple super turns, he is able to tank a lot of these normals in the game. Not type disadvantage obviously against like the core, but I feel like type neutral he could do pretty solid, you know, if you're able to get the triple super. Not gonna handle super attacks, but that's not really his role. As a slot 3 floating unit, you're much less likely to get super attacked than if he was like a slot 1 unit. This is too good. He has prepared for battle and over in a flash. It's a very excellent link set with these two right here, plus Super Saiyan obviously, right? Just very good links like these 4 right here. Obviously just very common, you're gonna see that all the time. He could just be very helpful in a lot of different setups because of this. Over in a flash, getting help like that is really good. And Power Beyond Super Saiyan has been getting a lot of buffs. I mean, we're literally about to get a Super Saiyan God Goku Dokkan Fest that will benefit off this Bardock, and this Bardock will be helped by that Super Saiyan God Goku Dokkan Fest, right? Age of LR Gohan is helped. You know, the LR Blue Fusions just got their EZA for the 8th anniversary in JP Dokkan. This guy, whenever he EZAs very soon, will get a lot of help from there. The LR gods are still really good, right? This into LR God Goku, right? Also very good. These guys also, you know, like there's a lot of Power Band Super Saiyan, AGL Blue Gogeta. There's been a lot of EZAs we've been getting recently that buffs this team dramatically. And the stronger this team gets, the stronger Super Saiyan 3 Bardock support gets. He is able to see this a lot more commonly. Like, he is helped out by Power Beyond Super Saiyan very much. So the stronger that team is, the more potent this Bardock's gonna be. Because I'm telling you, 50% offense support is a lot. Just for free. Just turn 1, no restrictions. 50% attack support like that is very crazy. So this Bardock is really good. I'm a big fan of him. I think that they handled him well. They've been giving him a lot of help, right? Which is a good thing, right? People may not like him as much as these units, especially because these units I feel like could be more consistent in what they do. A little more consistent overall, but this unit, if you're on that team, he's cooking. And he does actually a pretty good amount of damage himself for a support unit. I mean, I've seen this guy hit pretty hard, like 8-9 mil attack stats in certain situations, right? Maybe a little more built towards him, but he has the damage potential as well on top of his support. Even off that, you know, kind of support build for him, he is still hitting like 7-8 mil attack stats at bare minimum, right? I mean, this guy is pretty good. I don't know where he is on this list, if he's even on the list at all. I can't really find him. He has, yeah, he's right here. There he is, right? I mean, there's so many characters here. This is something that someone made right here, but yeah. So we'll get to number 5. Again, I think you could switch around some of these characters, but I feel like 5 and up, I kind of like it how it is. I have Str Cool. So Str Cooler, again, very strong unit. I think I really do like him better than Bardock because he's more consistent what he's doing. I feel like, again, he's this guy's best friend pretty much is really good. Yeah, and he's also providing 50% attack and defense support. I'm trying to find this cooler while talking at the same time while he's right there, right? It's like a little difficult. This guy's just doing more than Bardock for his team. I feel, you know, he's again stacking defense right there, lowering attacking defense. His leader skill is actually pretty good as well, right? It's something else you could point out. His additionals allow him to stack defense. Like, his defense is just really more consistent than Bardock, and he has a better support passive than Bardock. I don't think he's doing as much damage personally as Bardock would be, unless he does get this off, is what I'd say. But yeah, I just think this cooler is providing more to his team than Bardock is, especially with the key and the defense support, right? They're similar roles, very similar roles. But then Cooler does have the option to transform into a different role if you want, and have him be a very strong offensive monster still. I feel like people don't really talk about this transform Cooler, which makes sense. Obviously, you probably would prefer to stay in this guy's role because not many characters can support as strong as this guy. Like, what we need in the game I feel like is more strong support units, which we have gotten more recently, which is good, but I think even more would be nice to see. This Cooler having his additionals like that, he'll become much stronger whenever we do get a Pure Saiyan or Hybrid Saiyan boss, right? And same with like the Angel Meta Cooler, when we get a pure Hybrid Saiyan boss, right? That'll be very helpful for him, at least with the crits, right? Squeeze out extra damage, get more key, right? But I guess not as much with the Cooler compared to this guy, right? The Meta Cooler compared to Phantom Form. But yeah, I mean, he's just a better version of this guy, I feel, overall. Will I say Super Saiyan 3 Bardock could outage this Str Cooler? Maybe. I think they're on a similar level, which is why I was saying like kind of like 6 and above personally. I do not like this Bardock as much as Cooler. Definitely not. Like I guess I should clarify. I just feel this Bardock is closer to Cooler right now than he is to Namekill. But I still feel there's a gap right here. Like Cooler is really insane. Like he's still really good. Again, you have to consider we haven't had an actual event power creep. This Cooler is able to do much better than Bardock in a lot of situations, so that's obviously why I have him at number 5. Yeah, I wanted to clarify that because I feel like some people will take that as me saying, oh, Bardock could be switched with Cooler, and I like this I would not agree with at all. This I definitely like better. This is Bardock's been getting help. I mean, next we have Str Super Boo. I don't know if I could find this guy. Str Super, there he is. I do like him better than Cooler. I feel like some people would disagree. I think his base form is definitely not where Str Cooler's base form is. But I just think Buhan's too good. Buhan, like his guard ability, like even though it's a 70% chance, you pretty much always get it, right? Like let's be honest here. He's healing you as well. This is such an insane ability. He does so much damage right here because he has the high chance additional, the 80% extra attack when attacking, right? I mean, his link set is pretty good. Even if you don't necessarily link him with the Majin Buu, obviously he would love to be linked with the Majin Buu unit. I feel like people think he can't be ran off the Buu team, and I wouldn't necessarily say that's true. I mean, if we take a look again at Buhan specifically, right? I mean, Buhan can link with, like, you know, a Janemba unit. He links pretty solid with some of these Cell units here, Frieza units, right? Even if we get another strong Omega Shenron, right? There's options that you can use him that aren't necessarily with the Majin Buu units. Obviously, he's at his strongest, though, with Majin Buu units. This unit can actually hold his own right next to the STR Buhan. Funny enough, I mean, he was able to tank a Meta Cooler Core Normals, right? I had him take the Meta Cooler Core Normals post Super, and obviously that's the hardest any normals a boss could do in the game, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Either him or Cell Max, but this guy would be able to tank Cell Max normals as well. Or at the very least, like, you know, he'd be like 10-20k right from Cell Max normals. This guy could actually hold his own. Given you have STR Buhan slot 1, he takes the super, this guy does against super attacked, you could do a lot with that rotation. And this guy, I just think he's just too good. Right? He's just better than Cooler. It's just how it is. In game, you use him, he has better stats. He's just better offensively, better defensively. He just needs a better setup, because I'd say Cooler does have a better setup. You could say Cooler's more relevant than this guy, but again, I don't think relevancy and like how good a character is doesn't necessarily go hand in hand, but it does matter. So I understand if you want to have Cooler above this guy. I think this is much closer, but I personally like Buhan, what he's doing better. And if you do get Buu Piccolo, this guy is also pretty good. Again, even more HP recovery, really good support unit. Just very, very nice. I do wish, though, this was turn 4 instead of turn 5. If that was turn 4 instead of turn 5, that's when things would start getting pretty crazy, right? But yeah, I like this Buu. I think his defensive abilities are better than people may think too. He's able to tank, he's able to get like 500, 600k defense, right, in a lot of situations, and he's able to tank basically every normal in the game. Super attacks again obviously would kill him, but same thing with a lot of units in the game, right? So yeah, again, I just wish it was turn 4, because if it was turn 4, it'd be a lot more feasible for shorter continents right now. But yeah. Next at 3, we have actually the newest EZTUR, Physical Android 17. I'm sure he's a little more fresh in your guys' mind right now. This Physical Android 17, he is right here. He's really powerful as well. I first was a little hesitant on how good he is, but I did find this to be pretty consistent. Getting under 77% HP to get full damage reduction. I find that I'd get that probably like, 8 out of 10 times in the final phases of these events, which is where this extra damage reduction and support really do matter. I mean, if you have this full ability, he's giving everyone 3 ki and 77% defense, and then he has 57% damage reduction himself. With his defense ability, even like, you could start off the turn at 300, 400k-ish defense, right? And then he's able to tank basically any super attack in the game in slot 1 even before he super attacks. And after he super attacks, he gets a 30% raise, which would make him go up to like 500k-ish around that time, like around that level. With the damage reduction is really good. Now, if you're above 77% HP, he is getting less defense. This is not really the biggest deal, but the damage reduction he loses is pretty huge, right? This by itself is not enough to take super attacks. I mean, against Broly, I had him eat a super for like 650, 80k or so, right? Which is better than some units, but obviously just not enough. Taking AJO Broly for 680k is not, like, with the type of units we have now, it's not good. Even though he's providing the support and everything, I think while it's consistent at this, again, there's still the situation where you get him above 77% HP, he can get tagged by super and die. I've found that he's able to tank normals though from any boss with this 17% reduction given he supers first. So that's also fine, right? Again, because you have to consider he's going to be a floating support unit, like ideally. Like in my showcases I had him on rotation so I could show him off as much as I can. But realistically, this guy is going to be floating on the team, supporting the rotations. So, as a slot 3 unit, you're not really going to have to worry about him getting super attacked as much. So, or even attacked as much in general. So, it's not as much of a risk. But if you do get this, you could easily keep him on rotation if you wanted. I like this guy a lot. Now, what I'd say is, like, on Tournament of Power, he's not really the best because he's basically on, like, Android Assault and stuff like that and Shocking Speed. But on those androids team, like with the Gamma, like, dude, this guy's support makes Gamma 1 get like 700k start of turn defense. It's absurdly stupid. This guy is really good. I think he's just like a better overall version than these two. He's pretty much just a better version of Bardock, right? Against support units. Is what I'm thinking. And I like him. I think he's good. I'm a pretty big fan of this physical MVP 17. But I do think that Gogeta Blue is better. So, Super Gogeta is definitely not touching what 17 is doing. But I feel like, especially Blue Gogeta, it's just more consistent. Because, again, I was talking about this, but without, like, Android Assault and Shocking Speed giving him this 30%, 25% defense, right? He obviously doesn't look nearly as good. If you're above the threshold, he can't really survive the super attacks like that. While this Gogeta Blue, I mean, sure, the Broly event disables dodge, which sucks, right? But once he has like this built up, especially, and he has this up, he does much more damage than 17. He has a 70% chance to dodge, guaranteed crits, right? Obviously, he's a Saiyan. He has a Saiyan moveset. He's just like I feel like you could plop this guy on teams, and he just works overall more consistent than 17. While still providing a lot to the team, like even on 17's level, the amount of damage he's doing, even if he doesn't dodge, in a lot of situations he can tank at normals because of this. I like this Gogeta Blue a little more than 17, but again, I feel like these two again really close by, right, between Gogeta Blue and 17. I feel like you could say, well, Super Gogeta, I'm personally not really a fan of the Super Saiyan Gogeta aspect of the Gogeta Blue right before you transform. I feel like he's too weak defensively, and if you get hit, he takes a lot of damage, right? A lot more damage than you feel like you would think. But it's because he doesn't get this extra additional buff when attacking. No, actually he does. Never mind, I'm stupid. But he gets this 30% instead of the actual 50% for 2 turns, right? He has higher, base attack and defense, right? The 70% chance dodge. It does make a really big difference overall. I like 17 does he fit the game right now more? No, I am confident in this. Obviously, Blue Falcon's #1, right? I guess another argument you can make for 17 is, well, Str Blue Falcon Goku, he's like, is he even on here? I don't even know if he's on here. Str Blue Falcon Goku, there he is. Like, 17 helps out Blue Falcon Goku, and it's like, this guy is the best EZ2R just with what he's doing with the Spirit Bomb, right? And 17 being out, again, makes this guy even better, because 17 is able to activate his Representatives Universe 7 category allies restriction. He's able to get his guard ability for 17, right? Providing the defense part to 17 is helpful, right? It's definitely better than not having anything, but it doesn't really, like, affect this guy that much, because he would have preferred if 17 was like an offensive support, probably, right? Like Super Saiyan 3 Bardock is really would be really good with this guy with support if he was like on the Universe Survival Saga, right? But this guy is just too good. He just too much damage. He does more damage than most students in the game. He's just absurd, right? And his defense, this guard is like, again, I say this over and over, but the guard is like the best thing they added to this guy. It makes him build up so good, like so much easier. And the additional is really nice for the stacking attack. His defense, especially once he super attacks, he's able to tank even super attacks from a lot of these bosses in the game because of the guard ability, right? And then he just nukes you in turn 5 and you win, right? Like, he nukes the boss turn 5, then he wins, right? And yeah, it also helps this guy a lot that, you know, the UI Gokus with their evasion has aged pretty well. So really, you just plop UI Goku, this guy, and then 17 together on like superheroes or something like that, even under Blue Falcon's own lead, and you're looking pretty strong there. So yeah, the 17 helps this guy a lot, but not really as much as if we got like a new, you know, UI Goku or something like that, right? But he still does help a lot. But I feel confident in having the list as this. So that is my top 10 EZ2Rs list, y'all. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you disagree with some of the points. I'm very open to hearing what you guys say, right? This is very fun. But yeah, that's it for me. 32-minute video. Okay. All things here. I'll catch you next time.